All right, greetings, guys. Today we're going to go over pronouns and, you know, what they are and how you use them, because apparently I'm not seeing too many online instructions on how they should be used. So let's do that. Let's start with this guy here. It's only 4 minutes long.
Hi, I'm Jake Edwards and I am a non-binary YouTuber and musician.
Non-binary. Right away, that's not a thing. There is no such thing as non-binary. You're either male or you're female, or you're a group of people, or you're a single person. It's pretty much how it works.
Some bright lights.
Not as bright as that freaking bleach job.
Why are pronouns important? Well, pronouns are a part of the language you use to address a person, and they change depending on who you're talking to.
Yes, if you're talking to a male or female, or one person or good people.
And you should always address someone with respect.
Now, this is something that I have an issue with a little bit. Respect, yes, you should give people respect, but respect is generally earned. You can respect someone initially when you meet them, like you give them a certain amount of respect insofar as you don't know them, you don't know how they're going to, behave or whatever. So you give them a certain amount of respect and see where they go with it, right? But if someone shows they don't deserve respect, you don't show them respect, especially if they have fallacious beliefs. You never, ever respect fallacious beliefs. So, yeah, that's kind of a thing. So, let's continue.
Deciding not to use the correct pronouns for a trans person is a huge sign of disrespect.
Well, it may be to that trans person, but in reality, it just means we're not playing the game. We're not playing your little made-up game that you've created rather recently. That's what's going on. If they want to see that as disrespect, that is their problem, because being offended is a personal choice. It is your choice to be offended. It is not our problem. No one is to blame for someone being offended other than the person being offended. It's their choice to be offended, right? So.
And will most likely lead to that person feeling deeply uncomfortable and possibly even unsafe in your company.
Okay, that makes no sense. Unsafe? What, because I call you by your proper pronoun, you're going to feel unsafe? What do you think, I'm going to, clop you upside the head with a bat? Like, what does that mean? Are you being physically violated because I don't call you by your preferred pronoun?
Personal pronouns are not, as people popularly believe, just he and she.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. See, pronouns are not, we'll get it, I'll explain more about this in a moment here, but pronouns are not decided by a different person. Someone else doesn't define how you decide the pronoun should be used for that person. They don't decide how you identify them, because that's what a pronoun is. You are identifying them based on whatever they appear to be, male or female, right? And then you decide the pronoun yourself and apply it to the person, because most likely when you're using pronoun, you don't know the person's name usually, right? I mean, you couldn't, but whatever.
The singular use of they/them pronouns have been around since the 14th century.
Yes, but they're only used in certain contexts, right? They're not used in the context from which you're trying to use them. They and them is like, hey, I went, I can't think of an example, but you can use they or them in a singular fashion. It's just not, it's only in certain contexts and not all the time when you should be using he or she instead.
And was used as a gender-neutral pronoun. The use of they/them has been gradually increasing since the 1970s as singular personal pronouns.
Depends on context.
As the need for gender-neutral and inclusive language has progressed.
This makes me want to comment real quick that gender is supposed to be linguistic only. It's not really supposed to be referring to biological sex. It has become used more often now in biological sex, but it is biological sex. Gender is reflective, and exactly it is just another way of saying biological sex. It's a shorter way of saying it.
Today, it is widely understood that gender is a spectrum, just like sexuality.
No, no, it's not. Nope. You're either born male or female. That's pretty much how the world works. There's no spectrum to that. Not at all.
We have people who sit at very fixed binary points of male and female, but many people exist in the space around those points.
No, maybe in their head, maybe your little clique. You've brainwashed them to think that it's a cool thing for these outsiders to feel loved, to feel like they're part of something, right? You want to give them a little place to go to. Hey, I'm special, I'm important, but no, you're still either male or female.
This is called non-binary. Many
No, no such thing as non-binary. No such thing.
non-binary people like to use they them pronouns as they don't implicate a binary gender and make them feel uncomfortable.
Great. So maybe they should only talk to their friends that agree with them and don't have a conversation with anybody else outside their bubble. Because if they do that, they're going to be hit with reality. So stay in your bubble if you want to take the advice of this guy. If you step out of that bubble, no one's going to give a about your pronouns. Okay?
It's important to remember that you can never be sure of a person's pronouns.
See, and exactly why we shouldn't care about what they think their pronouns are, because all we see is male or female, which is how pronouns should be used, and our recognition of whether they're male or female. We don't need any input from another person to use pronouns correctly. People have a generally good ability to determine whether someone's a male or female. Like, I know you're a male. You're not non-binary. You're male, and I'm going to use he, all right, and him for you. Even if you whine and cry about it and say, I'm still going to use the correct pronouns scientifically. Okay?
Just by looking at them. Gender is a spectrum, and the way we express and present our gender to the outside world is just as vast as that spectrum. Asking a person what their pronouns are is not rude.
It shouldn't be done. It's a ridiculous question. Should never be asked. I will never ask anyone what their pronouns are unless I intend on making fun of them. Not going to happen.
It can be a little bit intimidating at first, but once you get into the habit, you can be confident that you won't be incorrectly assuming a person's pronouns.
I don't assume someone's pronouns. I'm usually pretty good at determining whether someone's male. You're male. I'm really good at identifying that. So, yeah, I'm good at it. I think there might be a 0.1% chance I can't guess whether someone's male or female. Then I just tell myself, oh, don't even bother trying. Right? So, yeah, no. If I have a hard time telling if someone's male or female, it's a very small percentage, very small chance, and it's not even worth it. That's totally different.
Based on how they present. This is a positive step forward, as it normalizes the behavior of not making assumptions and not linking a person's clothing to how they identify. Really good. Awesome.
You get the little farmer thing going on there, buddy, and your bleached hair, and you decided that you're not going to be a man. Like, I don't understand. Where is this guy's father? Like, does he have one? I think he only has a mom. Maybe he has two of them. I'm not sure. Look at his fingernails. This dude lacked some major male role model in his life.
Many people argue that they them pronouns are plural and cannot be used as a person's
Typically
singular
are.
pronouns because it's confusing. Much of the English language is confusing, and it's not uncommon.
Just because other parts of the English language is confusing doesn't mean it's okay to confuse other parts and just let it run, okay?
To have words that have multiple meanings. Some people just don't realize how often they use they them in a singular context already. For example,
So what?
Jamie
I know.
is bringing a friend over, but I don't know their name. It's used to refer to a person
Yeah,
whose
certain
gender
contexts.
pronoun has not yet been identified. So why not use they them for one person? If someone you meet has pronouns
because
that
it's
are
not
they,
proper
them, you
context.
should respect that and use them, because the impact of misgendering them can take a huge toll on their mental health.
Give me a break. We're not all freaking psychologists, okay? Oh, he's gonna on his mental health. Are someone so fragile that they're going to need have a mental breakdown because someone doesn't call them by what they think their gender, their pronoun should be? No. If that's going on, then they need to see a therapist and get lots of help. They shouldn't be out trying to hold conversation with people, okay, because they're not ready to be out in public. If they're going to go out in public and get triggered and go nutso and start doing little jigs on the ground because he's all upset, foaming at the mouth, I think they need some professional help. I'm not a professional. I'm not going to offer them psychological assistance. Okay, I'm just going to have a conversation with them. If they can't handle it, don't go outside. Don't have these conversations. Okay?
And it's extremely disrespectful. Since the 14th century, pronouns outside of he, she, and they have been brought into our language. These are pronouns like a, li, si, and thon, although most of these aren't in use today.
For a good reason.
They are a part of what we call neopronouns. It can be hard to learn to conjugate these pronouns, but if you meet a person who uses them, it doesn't hurt to give it your best shot.
Yes, it does. I'm not going to pervert the English language just because they decide to be part of some weird group. No, thank you.
And take direction from them, or even look it up for yourself. It takes a small amount of effort on your behalf.
No, not small.
But it will most likely mean the world to a person who uses neopronouns. I feel like my eye is twitching. The landscape of our language is always changing and adapting to suit our needs, just as more labels for sexuality have come around over the years. Gender identities have gone through the same thing. Non-binary is an umbrella term that encompasses many labels. Gender fluid is someone who considers their gender to be fluid rather than fixed on one point.
That's because they are retarded.
Bigender is someone who identifies as two genders, which could be male, female, or a number of other things.
What else besides male or female? Tell me. I like how you went a number of other things. What else is there, buddy? You're like looking to the left as if you're trying to think of something to say. That's like male or female or, just any other thing. Yeah, kind of difficult there, buddy.
Agender is someone who doesn't have a gender at all.
Everyone has a gender. It's going to be a quiz soon. You ready? I'm going to give you the answers. Ready? Remember this. It's male or female. That's it.
And so on. These identities are vast and unique to each person, and no one really feels their gender in the same way. For many non-binary people, using he or she can make them uncomfortable, but lots of people...
You said more than that earlier. You said not only uncomfortable, but have some sort of mental breakdown or something. Like, I'm responsible for their well-being just for having a conversation with them.
People use multiple pronouns. I personally identify as non-binary, and my pronouns are he or they, and that's because I feel a connection to masculinity, but I often feel very fluid and...
It's because you're a man, biatch. You're male. That's why.
Unconstrained by masculine ideas.
Because you're a
The
man.
term preferred pronouns only comes into play when a person uses multiple pronouns but has a preference. This preference can change day to day as their gender fluctuates. My preferred pronouns are they, but only because they're not the only pronouns that honor me. A trans person does not have preferred pronouns if they only take one set of pronouns. Saying that someone with one set of pronouns has preferred pronouns implies that they have multiple. And in doing so, you risk thinking it's okay to misgender them. So, using the correct
It is
pronouns
okay.
is not optional.
No, actually, no. I never misgender someone. 99.9% of the time, I gender them correctly because I can tell if someone's male or female.
It's okay to ask. Respect how labels and language are evolving, and always be open to learning new things. We all have to start.
How about you learn how biology works? All right, guys, I'm going to end the video there. Pronouns are used by someone else. If someone doesn't know who you are, they use pronouns based on how they interpret you to be, whether male or female. Then they use those. It's very important. Like, a cop comes to you like, what happened? What did you see? Well, this female was, running down the street and she this and she that. You don't know her name. You just got to describe her. You use pronouns. Pronouns are used by another person to objectively identify you in some manner, refer to you in some manner by expressing the gender you show to be, how they interpret you to be. You can't come tell them, hey, my pronouns are this or that. No, it doesn't. It's not going to work. That's not the way it works, because pronouns are used by someone else to identify you. Now, you can have a name that's separate, that's different, completely different, but pronouns, no. So that's pretty much it. I just want to cover this real quick, and we'll find something else soon. Peace.